intimidated by film. I'm intimidated by Sundance. I think there is a magic to movies, like when you come up through TV, I think you put film on a pedestal, and it made me nervous. So it took a while to feel like I was, you know, like I was worthy of writing a movie.
Were you always going to star in it?
Yes. I'm not that foolish. No, I'm not going to write this for somebody else. No, I did always know that I was going to star in this because I wanted to be able to act with Emma Thompson, and I thought this might be my only chance. There was no chance that I was going to direct this. I do enough stuff behind the camera that I really wanted to find someone who could take the reins of the movie and make it something really great, partially just like kind of selfishly so I could focus on my acting, something I've not been able to do on my various shows and everything, and I wanted to be good, and I could not have thought of someone better than Nisha to do this, so I was so relieved.
And she's so good in it. I'm really proud of Mindy and her performance. I think it's really a different side of her that
Am I better than Reed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Reed would say yes.
You can't take your eyes off.
That's the most important thing.
From like a fan perspective though, because I am a fan of everyone here, even though we work together. Like it's a lot to carry a movie and to work opposite Emma Thompson for 90 minutes. Like Mindy's incredible in everything she does, but usually it is like a big bulky supporting thing. Like to carry a movie with Emma, it was really impressive. It was really cool.
It really
like,
was.
You pulled it off, dude.
Well, you know, we've all had Emma Thompson shout at us in the movie. A really fun thing.
We're like a support group here.
We've all been shouted at. She tells you to shut up like 5 times in the script.
That's great. I dream it now.
No, shut up. I mean, Amy, you and her really
Yeah, you go toe to toe. You're
So-
like breathing deep in those scenes. Like,
she's
ooh,
so
that's
much
Emma
energy,
Thompson.
just
Yeah.
screaming
I'm
at
like
us
the
all
only
time.
person Emma Thompson didn't shout at. I'm so happy.
Get her on the
You're
phone.
right.
Get her on the phone.
on the phone.
I've said this before. It was a pretty stupid thing to do. Any agent would tell you not to write a movie for someone who could only play this part. And I think in watching it and knowing how it was written, like only Emma Thompson could play this role, I think. And so I don't know that I would necessarily do it again, but it was it felt almost like a little perverted to be sitting in my home, like thinking about her and writing this movie for her. I didn't know her, we were strangers, but it was a very, it was very gratifying to create this world in my mind that she had no idea about and none of these people knew anything about.
I was doing an episode of Kimmy Schmidt in New York, and they were like, they're willing to see you for late night, and I had already read the script and really, really wanted it. But I was like, they already have friends who they're gonna give parts to. But they're like, well, we'll see you. So I came in, and the night before I was drilling that monologue, and it was so fun. Some auditions aren't fun. This audition, I was like, well, even if I don't get it, like this is like fun. I'm sure you felt the same way. Yeah?
I did. There's very, there's some projects that you fight for and that you really want to get for various reasons. This was one because it was just so smartly written. It was just, upon the first glance of it, like yeah, I want to do this. It was fun to play with the words instantly, even in like an audition format. And then when I found out that they wanted me to come play, it was like, it was exciting, and we had some rehearsals, which you don't often get, like private rehearsals during the prep period. And we had a space at NYU, and we're just playing around. And I mean, I remember showing up, I still had my suitcase, and it was pouring out, and you came in from another prep meeting, and we just like launched right into, I think, me berating you in the hall, right? That was the first scene we sort of worked on, and it felt like home.
First and foremost, we want audiences to take away that was a really funny movie, and we really loved that story. And then the sort of thing I always hope people will think about later is the idea that, there's sort of a generation of women who worked really hard to get where they are, and there was this false lie sold to them about it being a zero-sum game, and there's only room for one woman at the table. And so I think what's beautiful about this movie is it sort of says without saying that once you get into that position, keep that door open behind you and help other women get ushered in to the table, because there's room for everybody at the table. And that false lie that there's only room for one woman is keeping everybody down, and even more so, the quality of what we see down. So I think it's just not the way we'll all rise together, and that even the quality of the entertainment we get is all gonna rise if we just include more people.
There are things that I sort of handpicked, the different observations that are like all throughout the movie. I did not have, thankfully, Molly's literal experience in my first job at the office that Molly did in this movie. But there are definitely instances. I worked at a show for a short time where there were assigned seats and there was no place for me to sit, so I had to sit cross-legged on the floor, although there was like empty seats around me because they belonged to other writers. And things that didn't happen directly to me come from research about famous people, like the numbering of writers. That is a real person who did that, and I loved it so much that I needed to put it in the movie.
Yeah.
So it's based on so much, like years and years of research through late night comedy writers and just reading about famous people in those kinds of positions and how the power changes them.